course, we are here to talk about the lineup and the plans for COLCOA, the French Film and Series Festival. But first, you will be hearing a very special welcome from writer, director, actor Julie Delpy, who is no stranger to COLCOA and has a television series in the festival this year. After that, we will have some opening remarks from Julie Deo Beros, the Consul General at the French Consulate in Los Angeles. But right now, I'm going to introduce Miss Julie Delpy.
Hi, I'm Julie Delpy, and this is a presentation of the COLCOA Film Festival. I have to say, this film festival came from a long time ago. There was something called the French Hollywood Circle. We were professional in the industry, French, discussing our situation, and eventually from discussing with American filmmakers and Americans in the industry, we realized that so many people were really fond of French cinema and that they didn't always have a chance to see some of the films because they didn't always come here, didn't always have distribution companies, even if many of them do end up with distribution. So it came from this basically shared love of French cinema, and now it's been 25 years, 25th anniversary. I was lucky enough to show some of my films at this festival, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it this year as much as you enjoyed the other years. François Truffard is managing this festival wonderfully well, and voilà, that's the press conference today, I guess. So I'm presenting this tiny presentation. I'm presenting this presentation. Okay, bye.
Dear lovers of French cinema, dear friends, as always, the program announcement of the 25th edition of the COLCOA French Film Festival is very exciting. Firstly, because the French festival is bringing French cinema to a spotlight during the award season. But this year has a very special taste as we celebrate the quarter-century anniversary of the festival after a year and a half of waiting. I usually have the pleasure to welcome you at the Résidence de France, which is unfortunately impossible this year. François and Anushka, everyone knows the hard work and all the great energy you spread around to make the City of Light, City of Angels shines again through the French stories that will be told. You are achieving what would have been impossible for many, and it makes France, the French artists, and all the film industry very proud. This year's edition will be remembered as one of the first film festivals to resume its activities in person. Today, the world of cinema, not only French-speaking cinema, is watching you for your courage and resilience. I cannot wait to attend this very special edition and be part of the 25,000 attendees of one of the largest French film festivals in the world. I'm sure that most of you already know COLCOA, but I would like to say a few words to present this wonderful festival. Founded by the Franco-American Cultural Fund and held at the DGA, COLCOA is the only festival in the US exclusively dedicated to French films as well as French TV programs. The Consulate General of France in Los Angeles and the cultural services of the French Embassy have always been here to support the festival and its evolutions, such as the introduction of TV series programs. This diversity is the sign of an ambitious and long-standing festival. COLCOA is a unique and essential opportunity to promote French creation in all its forms, and this is why it's such a pleasure for me and the cultural services to support it. May this collaboration last at the very least 25 more years. I would like to warmly thank the COLCOA team and our friends at the DGA, the WGA, the MPA and SACEM. We would not be here without you. And an immense thank you as well to RTL Nuit, BNP Paribas, Sling, TV5 Monde, Variety, and all the other sponsors and partners of the festival for your invaluable support. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank again François Truffard, Executive Producer and Artistic Director of COLCOA, and Anushka von Heril, the Deputy Director, for their impressive and long-standing commitment to the success of the festival. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me give the floor to the one and only Taylor Hackford, DGA past President and member of the Franco-American Cultural Fund, to whom I had the privilege of awarding the insignia of Commander in the Order of Arts and Letters. Thank you all for being here.
The Franco-American Cultural Fund was founded 25 years ago. Its purpose to encourage cultural exchange in the film world between filmmakers from France and America. You know, arguably we both created cinema, whether it was the Lumiere brothers or Edison is arguable, but the fact is we have been at the forefront of cinema for its entire history. And what we did at the beginning was think, how can we put together something to celebrate this exchange? Well, we created COLCOA, which is the French Film Festival at the DGA in Los Angeles. Now, effectively, COLCOA means the City of Lights, the City of Angels, Paris, Los Angeles. And that cultural exchange has been vital. It's not only vital just to see new French films, but also the filmmakers. They come from France, they exchange ideas and sometimes arguments with American filmmakers. That's good. You know, ferment is good. But it's a cultural exchange that keeps our two cultures alive and exchanging ideas. This year is our 25th anniversary. Now, something's right when something lasts 25 years. And we're very proud that we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. In a way, it's sad, but I think fitting, that we dedicate our 25th anniversary to a great director and critic and somebody who embodied what the Franco-American Cultural Fund is all about, Bertrand Tavernier. Bertrand was an incredible knowledge. His knowledge about world cinema was fantastic, but he wanted this exchange to happen. Unfortunately, we lost him this year, but the idea to celebrate Bertrand, some of his films will be in the festival, to celebrate Bertrand and what he represented is, I think, a fitting tribute in this moment of the 25th anniversary. I'm on the selection committee with a lot of very, very fine critics and knowledgeable people in cinema. And we have selected for an opening film this year, Between Two Worlds. It was co-written and directed by Emmanuel Carrère, starring the Academy Award winner Juliette Binoche. Last year, Nomadland won the Academy Award for Best Picture. When you see Between Two Worlds, it's almost a French answer to that ethos that Nomadland was talking about. And I think that kind of cultural exchange, those kinds of ideas are what makes this festival so unique. So, it's our 25th anniversary. This is, to us, something to really celebrate, and we really hope you enjoy it. We have the largest festival of French film in the world outside of France. It's called COLCOA. I think that of all cultures in the world, I mean, there's great filmmakers in every country, but of all cultures in the world, the US and France have a more intimate relationship with cinema. So it made perfect sense to do this.
Having a movie in COLCOA is it's a beautiful opportunity to show, promote French cinema, French independent cinema in a city has a long history of cinema.
We have new films from France that are screened, premiered in the United States, in Hollywood. It is growing. Every year it grows. And it becomes a little cultural island for France in Los Angeles, which is the movie capital. Been very successful. The Franco-American Cultural Fund has put it together, and I'm very proud of it.
Good morning, and I am François Truffard, the executive producer and programmer of COLCOA. What a pleasure to be here today. We are so excited to be back at the DGA with a real audience and a strict COVID policy, of course, and support exchanges between filmmakers and premiering films with distributors with a very exclusive lineup of 55 films and series and 19 shorts. Like every year, our lineup shows the diversity of French production, including documentaries, dramas and comedies, film noir and horror films, first films, films from veteran filmmakers, films written and directed by women, films given more visibility to minorities. Most of these films and series will be presented for the first time in North America and be in competition for the COLCOA Awards. Obviously, I won't have time to describe the full lineup this morning, but as you will receive in a few minutes the whole program, I will just highlight a few titles. The opening film, of course, in competition, it was just announced by Taylor Hackford, Between Two Worlds. Also, the film that opened the Directors for Night in Cannes this year and just won the Audience Award in San Sebastian. With this drama based on a true story, you will be impressed by probably the best performance ever given by actor and Academy Award winner Juliette Binoche. The films will open in France next January and be released in the US by Cohen Media Group in 2022. We will close the festival with two North American premieres, Onoda, 10,000 Nights in the Jungle by Artura Harari. The film recounts the true story of, and a famous story of a Japanese soldier who spent almost 30 years hiding out in a Philippine jungle, believing that the war was not ended. And it was the opening film of Un Certain Regard competition in Cannes. The other closing film will be Lost Illusions, the adaptation of the famous Honoré de Balzac's novels by writer-director Xavier Giannoli, with Benjamin Voisin, Cécile de France, and Gérard Depardieu. The film is formally an homage to genre noir cinema, and it is an exciting story about how the creation of fake news is not the fact of social networks, but started actually in the 19th century. The film will be released in the US by Music Box Films in 2022. I just want to mention 5 films in the lineup. I know it's very frustrating, but again, you will have the whole program in a few minutes. Another World, the new social drama by Stéphane Brisé with Vincent Lindon. The Young Lovers, a delicate romance by female director Karine Tardieu, starring Fanny Ardant. Eiffel, a biopic by Martin Bourboulon, on how the building of the most famous tower in the world, the Eiffel Tower, was motivated by a love story. Black Box, a thriller taking place in the aeronautic industry in France by the new master of film noir, Johan Gozlan. And finally, The Restless, the last drama by Joachim Lafosse. Joachim Lafosse is a Belgian director, but we have a competition at COLCOA of film co-produced by France. So this is a French-Belgian co-production. The film was in competition in Cannes. And if you know the filmography of Joachim Lafosse, it continues to explore the problematic couple in crisis in this film with an amazing performance of 2 French actors, Laila Bekti and Damien Bonnard. Finally, our COLCOA Classics program will pay tribute to 3 giants who passed away in 2021, writer-director Bertrand Tavernier, writer Jean-Claude Carrière, and of course, actor Jean-Paul Belmondo. Now it's my pleasure to introduce one of the program committee members, is the chief critics at Variety, Peter de Bruges. Peter, do you want to comment this amazing lineup?
Sure, Francois. It's been a real honor these last 2 editions to sort of get a peek behind the hood and see your process, and also see COLCOA evolve. You know, the festival's been around for 25 years. I've been attending it for, I think, 15 of those. And, you know, this is really a special opportunity that Los Angeles has to see the best of French cinema, and not limited only to the best films that are selected at major film festivals, although there are a lot of those, a really stunning number this year, like Between Two Worlds, films from every section of Cannes, including first films. You know, there's another film with Gérard Depardieu that opened Critics Week this year, Robust, and you know, there's films from Venice, from other festivals. There are movies that I travel the festival circuit and have the real privilege to see a lot of these things when they're launched. But there are a lot that I'm, you know, that because of the last 2 years, Angelinos have not had a chance to see. So this edition really is a special one to catch up with some things, including the movie that won the César last year. Bye Bye Morons is the translated title of Albert Dupontel's films, his latest film. His other movies have been in the festival in the past, and you know, that's a must-see movie. You know, I totally am on board with both the opening and closing films this year. They're really, really special movies. You know, the comparison that Taylor Hackford made between Nomadland and Between Two Worlds is a really great one, because both of these movies feature an actress we respect so much, interacting with non-actors and creating a kind of a new kind of documentary fiction with them. And then, of course, Lost Illusions, the Xavier Giannoli film that closes the festival, is as advertised. And I can say this as a journalist, it really kind of blew my mind. You know, like, the Balzac novel has been there at you know, available to us for all this time, and yet, you know, it took this adaptation to really connect, you know, what was going on with journalism in France at the turn of the century with you know, the really scary stuff we're seeing now about how you know, journalism can be bought and influenced. So anyway, my role here is just to corroborate, you know, to say that this is you know, kind of like the strongest lineup that you can get, because the festival's been evolving, and this year you have a chance to see the films that'll be vying potentially to be France's Oscar submission, movies you may not have seen already. Of course, you've heard about Titane and the phenomenon that has made. You know, there are animated films. There's the latest Bruno Dumont movie, France, which was one of 4 Léa Seydoux movies that played at Cannes. And this one, I think, I will say it kind of bombed at Cannes, but I think with American critics and with American audiences, it stands to have a really different read, because it's a critique of French media. And we get the joke in a way that it might be too close to home for French audiences. So I'll shut up, but I want to just, you know, encourage you to dig in, because we've only been able to name a couple titles. And now I'm going to hand it off, because it's more than just screenings at this festival. There's so much that COLCOA does to interact with the community. I'm going to hand it off to Anushka Van Riel to tell you more about the educational side of things.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anushka, the Deputy Director of COLCOA. Taylor spoke at length about cross-cultural exchanges as a ferment for creativity. And one program that we are very fond of at COLCOA, and is at the core of this mission given by the Franco-American Cultural Fund, is our high school program. The goal of the program is to renew audiences and build new audiences. And this program every year welcomes 3,000 students from more than 60 high schools across the Los Angeles basin at COLCOA. We have been doing this program since 14 years, and with the help of our partner ELMA. It has become the largest educational program offered by a film festival in LA. This year, we are offering a hybrid program in order to accommodate the schools who are not fully vaccinated, because it's important to know that at COLCOA this year, we will welcome all vaccinated attendees. The film that will be screened this year for the high school program is Owning It, and it's by writers Joanna Goldschmidt and Laura Elizabeth Bourdeau, directed by Noël Lemel, and with newcomer actor Tracy Go To Us. There will be a Q&A with the actor and the director after each screening. There are 5 of them at the DGA. And for the school who will watch the program online, there will be a Q&A with the writers and the actor. The film tells the story of a young woman who grew up in the projects in France and who excelled at school. She's accepted in one of the top elite schools in France, but what seems to be a path to a better life turns into a source of new problems for Tracy, who is caught in between two worlds. So the film really addresses contemporary topics that permeate both French and American societies, like code switching, for instance. As this program matters a lot to us, we've been, with the help of Elma, again, a partner, conducting a lot of surveys. And the last survey conducted in 2019 shows that 80% of the students don't find subtitles to be an obstacle to them watching foreign content. And that's in a context where we've seen during the pandemic an explosion of foreign content on the platforms. And this explosion has normalized foreign content for American audiences. But at COLCOA, we knew before that actually young audiences really didn't mind subtitles, and subtitles cannot be anymore taken as an obstacle for American to watch foreign films. And we think, for instance, just in the past year, naming just the French ones, Lupin or Call My Agent had really big successes during the pandemic. And now there are more of them, like Squid Game. Foreign content is really exploding all over the platforms. Yeah, and this is in a context also where French TV programs reach record high sales and are being seen all over the world. And that's according to figures from Centre National du Cinéma et de l'Image, CNC. And we will show a lot of these programs, animation, documentary, and fiction at COLCOA, because we have a strong TV lineup as well, and documentary, and we have a big animation waiting for you. So that's a wrap for me.
Thank you, Anushka. We're excited to welcome everybody back to the DGA Theater in person this year. It's November 1 through 7, as we mentioned, for the 25th anniversary. For those of you interested in press credentials, please write to me, pfmarketing@me.com, and that will be on the press release that you're all receiving after this conference. But once you do write to me and say you are interested in press credentials, I will send you a link and you will register online and select the screenings that you wish to attend. It's a pretty seamless process. So I think it will be easy for you, and we welcome you back. Of course, check your email right after this, and you will be given the press release that has all the titles in it. We didn't want to belabor it and write a million titles for you, but all of it is in that press release. I don't see any questions in the chat, but if anybody has any now, you can either raise your virtual hand or send a question. Otherwise, I think that's a wrap, unless Francois, Anushka, you have anything else to say.
I probably can talk just a few minutes, or not for 30 seconds, about the delegation and talent that we have invited to the festival, considering the fact that the United States is reopening in November. We try our best to have all this talent with us from France. And to name just a few of them, we are talking about Charlotte Gainsbourg for a documentary, Jane by Charlotte, Pierre Ninet for 2 films, Lovers and Black Box, and Johan Gozlan, I was mentioning this director for this film, is also invited. Anushka, you can help me with the list, but we have invited about 20 talents, and we are working on Q&As, meetings, professional meetings. As usual, we will do our best, and we are optimistic on the fact that they should be able to be with us in November.
Terrific. Okay, if anyone,
and also we also, yes, I just mentioned that for the opening film there is a big chance that Juliette Binoche attend and be at the opening screening night on November the 1st.
That's terrific, and we will keep you all up to date on the guests, getting announcements from me as the days go on. We're coming up on the 1st of November very quickly. So you will be getting some more announcements and updates from me as we go on. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.